It's good to have you join us on Nigeria Now, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, 2S Television. Thank you again for joining us this morning. I am Merciful Ajinomo, and joining me in the studio is Adebayo Fajimi. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Very fine.
Good, good. We have a couple of stories this morning from across the national dailies. We'll begin from Nigerian News Direct. From the very first stop right there, we see alleged $9 billion loss. Private jet owners aid gold smuggling, and that's coming from Oga. We have the banner headline that's talking about Enugu meeting. Southern governors insist on 2023 presidency. Two writers under that story. The first declares support for collection of VAT by state and comment enactment of anti-open grazing law across region, and that's on page 3 of the Nigerian News Direct. Talking about insecurity, just the story under the picture of the day there, we see 1,436 Nigerian school children abducted, 16 dead, over 200 missing in 2021. That's coming from UNICEF. We have other stories right there. Talking about the 2023 presidency, how prepared are the geopolitical zones of the South? That can be found on page 2. But let's talk about the banner headline talking about Southern governors insisting on 2023 presidency. So we are less than 2 years to the general elections, which is going to happen in 2023, and we've been seeing so much activities, cross-carpeting, candidacy and everything. And now we're saying Southern governors insisting from their meeting on being leaders of 2020 of Nigeria come 2023. What's your take on all of this?
Well, it is the desire of every man to to have power, at his disposal. So for our politicians, it's not going to be a different ball game, as we all know. So, but my take on this is, we have too many issues on our table as a nation, to solve than deliberating and having this pen chance, for 2023, what's going to happen and all of that. So though the issue of zoning has been, in the media for quite some time, and it's a major issue when it comes to presidential race in Nigeria. So my take is just, we should, you also looking at 2023, we should rather focus more on the major problem,
priorities.
Yes, we should prioritize the welfare and governance, that we enhance the welfare of people as a nation. So whether it's going to go to the southern part of the country, or it's going to go to there from many angles. We have heard over and over that zoning has nothing to do with presidency, that it is not a must, and it is not even in our constitution.
It has not happened.
So
we've not been following it.
So whatever it is, we should prioritize governance, and we should ensure that whoever is even going to emerge, either from the south or from the north again, should be the best. The best, it is high time the best begin to rule the rest. Not just any other person. You just come to power, and because you have power, you have connection, you have the money, to finance election and all of that. So I think it's high time. So the best, in my own take, should rule the rest.
All right. Still talking about the Enugu meeting and the Southern governors. On Daily Times, the banner headline there is VAT collection belongs to state. Southern governors tell federal government. Two writers commend state for enacting anti-open grazing laws and say Southern Nigeria should produce president in 2023. What was talking about? This can be found on page 2. From the very top there, we see strike. Federal government resident doctors refuse to shift ground. Then the writer is as court resumes hearing today. But before we talk about the strike issue, we're still seeing an issue, replicating across the national dailies for each day. Talking about VAT collection, we'll be talking about this for the last couple of days now. And yesterday on our show, we had someone, from Gombe State talk about this VAT collection, that people should respect the rule of law. And this back and forth, Rivers State, Lagos State, and federal government, he said categorically that even though it's very important that states focus on that VAT collection locally and try to focus on the development of each state, it is important that people should realize that the law has its place, right? And now we're seeing the Southern governors coming out again and saying this should stand. How do we begin to draw the line of, this insistence on local collection of VAT from the state government and drawing the line with saying, oh, what has the court said, right? And what are we doing?
So we have seen a couple of states. We have seen Rivers State and also Lagos State, requesting to join the suit. And you can see now, just yesterday, the Southern governor, are making, have made their stand that okay, we are standing with this and no going back. Where it is part of restructuring our fiscal federalism that many Nigerians have been clamoring for, and it's a good thing. So, but this back and forth, I think will be better resolved, in court. So the agency of the federal government in charge of that has appealed the case, and everything is now in court. And fortunately, just a couple of days ago, Presidency has also spoken that whatever the court says will be obeyed, by the center. So I think it's a good thing. So whatever the court decide. So I think each party should, but for the sake of other people and every Nigerian. So I think what is very important on this is that whatever court decides, whatever other court gives out, should be obeyed by each party.
True. Now the strike, our federal government resident doctors refusing to shift ground. We have a court to resume hearing today, and we're still talking about the strike issue. And yes, we've had people come out and say, look, this is not the best for Nigeria, even though we still have some medical centers working, and strike is something that people do not like, right? So what do you think will be the outcome from today's meeting?
Well, as long as we cannot continue this way, because if you look at it, majority of these leaders we're talking about, how many times have you seen them protesting for not being paid, for not being well taken care of? There was never a time I have experienced that as a young Nigerian. But now you see critical sectors in the nation, talk about health, you talk about education. You can imagine the kind of, negligence, that these people are experiencing. How will you feel? Of course, these people, it is high time we feel their pains, and with so much concern, we give them so much concern. Do you understand? So even though the court, says the court backs the federal government, and these people are ordered to go back to work, what matters is the heart in which you are using to do the work, to do the job. When you are not happy, when you are not fulfilled, how will you be able to do your work the way it should be done? So what I think should be done is federal government should please answer these people, do whatever they say they want, just to please them, to ensure that these people are fulfilled, and also they so that they can also be happy. So back and forth, if whatever they resolve at, if this issue is not critically addressed from its roots, it's still going to repeat itself. And it is not today that we have been experiencing this. It has been happening over and over and over. So it is high time we look into how best can we approach this case so that it will not repeat itself, so that our health sector can go the way it should go.
All right, we're out of time, but we have a lot of other national dailies for this morning. On the Daily Trust, the banner headline there is still talking about Southern governors' insistence on VAT collection. We also have this day, the banner headline there is Salami with debt service to revenue at 98%, Nigeria's borrowing unsustainable. The Punch is federal government to spend $4.9 billion fresh loans on Kanu, Niger Republic rail line. Others, we have other headlines there. On the Guardian is Southern governors insist on VAT collection 2023 presidency, and every other story right there on each of the national dailies. Just grab yourself a copy of any of these newspapers and read about everything that's happening, and stay updated on our website as well, so you do not miss out on happenings in Nigeria and across Africa. That is www.tostvnetwork.com. Don't forget to also follow us across all our social media platforms at TOSTV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, like and subscribe to our YouTube page. Thank you again for joining us on the Friday edition of Nigeria Now. We'll see you next week, Monday. Take care and have a wonderful weekend.